Racing to the 2020 Breeders' Cup, and this time let's take a deep dive into the Dirt Mile, and this race is shaping up as a competitive field. We'll take a look at some of the top 8-9 contenders. I have a feeling this could end up with about 10 or 11 horses, and if a few of the horses that possibly are considering the Classic, this could be another deep betting race with not a lot of raw speed. There's some horses that like to run close to the pace. Let's start with Pirates Punch. Pirates Punch, Shanghai Bobby Prodigy, is having a solid year. 7 starts, 3 wins this year, and overall 17 starts lifetime with 5 wins. He won the Salvatore Mile. That was a grade 3, and his other good effort this year was a 3rd in the Mineshaft Stakes. Pirates Punch also, you know, he kind of has a good tactical speed. He doesn't need the lead, but he can take the lead if he draws well and some of the other horses that might be on the cutback decide to lay off the pace. Now, a horse that's coming into this race off a good effort in the Keeneland race most recently is Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, a 106. That's his best Brisnet speed figure on the year, and that puts him competitive in this race. He was 6th in the Met Mile, didn't run too bad, and I don't think he really went into the Met Mile off his best efforts. So I think he trained well recently, and his Keeneland effort was a strong effort running wide. Mr. Freeze, definitely one of the contenders. 16 starts, 6 wins, and remember, he won the Gulfstream Park Mile. So he's definitely the miler type. Knicks Go is going to be a horse that's going to be on the rise. 2 for 2 in 2020, a 98 and a 110 Brisnet speed figure. He won by 10 lengths. He won by 7 lengths. He's raced at Oaklawn Park and then had a long layoff before that last prep race at Keeneland. He's going to come in fresh. Now, some of you may remember him back on the Derby Trail. He was kind of the pace setter in the 2018 Breeders' Cup Juvenile, set the pace at Tampa Bay in the Tampa Bay Derby, but Knicks Go under Brad Cox seems to have turned the corner. They've cut him back, and he could be a strong dirt miler. War of Will is another horse that's coming into the off. You know, he's got a dirt win, he's got a turf win, grade 1 winner on multiple surfaces, including the Preakness Stakes, a grade 1, and then the Maker's Mile turf race at Keeneland earlier this year. War of Will, 3rd most out in the Woodbine Mile, and I think this horse is a horse that's always trained well on the dirt, so it'll be interesting to see him back in the dirt, possibly War of Will in this race. Now, Art Collector, he's considering the Classic and the Dirt Mile. He ran 3rd in the Preakness Stakes. You know, that effort was actually better than looked. The top 2 just kind of ran away from the field. They got involved in that ferocious duel going into the turn with that mid-race move by Swiss Collector going to the lead. That forced Authentic to kind of step on the gas, and that means Art Collector just wasn't ready to engage at that time. They drew away, but I think Art Collector, with a less robust middle move like that, he could have been competitive in the Preakness Stakes. So on the cutback and the speed that he's shown in some of his earlier races, he could be another strong contender. Complexity has got back into form this year, lightly raced in 2019, but now this year in 2020, he's put together a couple of nice efforts. 2nd in the Forgo, he won the Kelso. That Kelso came back strong, a 109 Brisnet. He ran a 134 and change, beat Code of Honor that day. Now, Code of Honor is not going to run in the Dirt Mile. He is going to point for the possibly the Clark Handicap at Churchill Downs or the Cigar Mile at New York at Aqueduct, but it was a small field that day, but he ran fast. Now, that was a 1-turn mile, and his 2 best races at a mile have been in the 1-turn. Keeneland will be a 2-turn race. His effort last year in the Malibu against Omaha Beach was a solid effort, but again, that was kind of a smaller field. So Complexity for Chad Brown seems to be picking up form again, and he's definitely going to be sharp at a mile along with a horse like Knicks Go and Art Collector. Midcourt, he is probably going to cut back after those efforts against Maximum Security and Improbable this summer at Del Mar. On the comeback, he could be strong. He ran wide on both turns in his most recent race, the Awesome Again, so that race was a little bit better than looked. And then another horse to consider is Rushi. He's been working out strong, 5 workouts since his nice race on September the 5th, the Kentucky Derby undercard, the Pat Day Mile. Now, that race did come back with a light speed figure, only a 93 on the Brisnet scale, so that puts him 5-6 lengths behind some of the top contenders like even Mr. Freeze and art collector, and also horse-like complexity and war of will. So Rushi's going to have to improve the 3-year-old taking on older horses, but 3-year-olds have done well in the past in the dirt mile. A competitive dirt mile is shaping up. We've got top 8 looks at the juvenile fillies, and the distaff. Take a look at those. Tomorrow we're going to take a look at the top 8 classic contenders as we get you ready for the Breeders' Cup 2020. Remember, hit subscribe, share this video with all your horse racing friends, and like this video so we can get more views, and ring that bell for notifications as we lead you up to the 2020 Breeders' Cup.